Before I get started, I would first like to give a heavy thank you to Emilia Pérez and everybody involved in making that film. If it wasn't for them, my channel wouldn't see such an explosive amount of growth in the last few weeks. And I've only put out 2 videos on the topic. 1, a full review, and 2, how disappointed I am that it's up for any nominations at the Academy Awards at all, let alone won a few already at other outlets. Since the best way to grow on YouTube is to take a concept that works and drive it into the ground, here I am with a third Emilia Pérez video. This time a top 10 of sorts with no real particular order in mind, but people love a good top 10. So without further poo-poo, I give you the top 10 reasons why Emilia Pérez is a total pile of ass. Let's begin. There's gonna be spoilers for Pérez, so tread fucking lightly, friends. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I post movie reviews, rants, live streams weekly here, and it seems like now we have to have an Emilia Pérez video every so often to keep the lights on. Really, the channel should be called Adam Does Emilia Pérez. Hot. Sexy hot. Number 10, the writing. Emilia Pérez takes the concept of a 3-act structure and completely tosses it out the window, instead opting for something more akin to, say, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. So this movie's gonna jump around like crazy, focusing on several different aspects of these ladies' lives before hitting the crescendo where the movie decides that the lead character is gonna get captured off camera. But let's get into the heart of it, and it's the story itself. The plot of this movie is so nonsensically stupid, you could take the script verbatim and hand it to the guys at South Park and they would come back with no notes. It would truly be a great South Park movie, because it's so unintentionally funny in the stupidest ways possible. Juan Manitas Del Monte is a bad guy. He is a serious individual. Yeah, sure, he's killed. He's devastated lives. He's flooded the streets with guns and drugs, but he also has a wife and 2 children. And this is all very confusing because it turns out there's a big part of Manitas that feels unfulfilled with his life. It turns out there's always been a part of Manitas deep down inside that's been screaming to get out ever since she could remember. That's right, Manitas is actually Emilia Pérez, or at least she will be. After faking his own death, traumatizing his children and wife, Manitas will undergo surgery for the next 4 years, coming back reborn as Emilia Pérez for all to see. I'm coming out, just want the world to know. It's when I forget lyrics, I just, do that whole thing. I'm sure you do too. I'm relatable. You know what's not so relatable? Getting help from a downtrodden lawyer to fake your own death, abandon your children and wife, come back as a woman only to miss your children and wife, take them from their new place, bring them back to Mexico, force them to do whatever you want to do with their lives because you have all the money, power, and control, much like you used to have, and somehow be completely washed of all sins because apparently, according to this movie, becoming trans is like confession with extra steps. You are completely forgiven for all sins, and in fact, you will be admired. Worshipped as the goddess you are, having a statue erected in your honor by the time this movie winds down. No, from a story angle, this movie is an absolute dumpster fire. It's an insult on all the senses. It just is so stupidly executed. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a good story somewhere baked in this recipe. The idea of a drug cartel leader making amends for a lifetime of terrible misdoings by setting up facilities to find missing kids or go after the drugs on the streets and really having this deep come to Pérez moment. That's a fascinating story. That's not the story here. Emilia Pérez barely seems interested in her past life. Oh, that was that guy. Boo, he sucks. Bleh, Pérez is great. She's completely disassociated, and every time it gets brought up, she scoffs like, I don't want to talk about that. Gross. That's not me anymore. But then she continues to be a selfish bitch, stealing the children away and not telling them the true identity of their long-lost father, living with the former wife and seeing a new woman. Because this is Aunt Emilia Pérez, not the husband. There are no sympathetic characters in this movie. because Zoe Saldana's Rita, the lawyer who's been helping her all these years, is trash too. She's a chips are down, hardworking lawyer who never gets the money and the respect she deserves, so she says, fuck it, I'm just gonna start working with one of the worst people to walk the earth and look the other way at all the misdoings because I have a Visa card with no limit? Sorry, Rita, you trash. And so is this script. Let's move on though. Number 9. Now this number is more of a representation of the collective I've seen online, and not so much my own feelings because I don't speak a lick of Spanish, and so perhaps I have that in common with the women in this film. It turns out they don't either. Sure, they may have memorized the dialogue, some of which I've heard is completely insulting and sounds like it was generated off of AI and not actually written by a person, because it actually wasn't written by anyone that speaks Spanish fluently. It was a French dude who made this movie. This isn't even a Mexican film that takes place primarily in Mexico with an almost entirely fake Mexican cast. But yes, the lines being delivered and the line delivery itself is an assault on the ears. Selena Gomez apparently is the worst of the bunch, but you know, she's not that great of an actress to begin with. You know, you have that pocket of actresses, the Selena Gomez, the Miley Cyrus, the Hilary Duffs. They're pretty okay at different things like acting, singing, and whatnot. Every once in a while, you get a Ariana Grande in the rough that can absolutely knock it out of the park in at least one of those facets, although I thought she was phenomenal in Wicked, and she's obviously has an amazing voice, but I'm getting sidetracked. No, the Spanish in this movie, absolutely insulting from what I've heard. From my perspective, it doesn't really matter when the lyrics of the songs are refrigerator, coffee maker, and penis to vagina. Doesn't really matter how they speak it, it's still idiotic. And speaking of which, let's talk about the music. Number 8. You know what's not a good idea? Making a musical around a serious set of issues. Really don't think we're gonna be getting a Holocaust musical anytime soon, I certainly hope not, because musicals by default contain music. And there's nothing too chipper and upbeat about a movie focusing on a drug lord turned woman turned activist. It just doesn't mesh well. And sure, movies in the past like La La Land have done a great job kind of bridging the gap between the fun, fantastical moments and the serious, somber ones. But La La Land, is a great movie, while Emilia Pérez is the shit I wipe off the bottom of my shoe when I walk through the park. Maybe if the owners cleaned up after their dogs, we wouldn't have this problem. On its face, it was a bad idea, but maybe the music will wow me to a point where I can go, okay, this makes sense why they thought they had to sing their way through these lyrics. It never makes sense. It always comes off as cringy at best and outright insulting at worst. I mentioned this in my previous videos, but the opening number, singing about different items in the house and the privilege that comes along with that, to the next song featuring Zoe Saldana singing with the Mexican cleaning staff and how they're all oppressed and they feel bad for themselves. And while the stuff they are singing about may have actual merit to it and be 100% legit, it's the way they approach it. The lines of the music aren't just hitting you over the head with a hammer. The stuff they're singing about is so fucking stupid. And it really hits a milestone at that 25-minute mark or wherever it is where they go to the infamous surgery room. And Zoe Saldana's walking around with a pen and a pad, noting all the different procedures the surgeon can do, which we all know and love and sing along to. Do it with me now. Man to woman, woman to man, penis to vagina. And he does kind of sing it off key like that, which just adds even more to the charm. While watching this, I couldn't help but reminisce about my time watching that last Star Wars TV series I went episode through episode through. The Acolyte, the Acco shit. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Holy shit, they almost have the same kind of man to woman, woman to man, penis to vagina. It's so close. It's almost planned out. This is what George Lucas wanted all along. It's a circle. By the time this movie comes to a merciful close, not only have we had those songs, but we also have Selena Gomez doing some pop princess rock thing where she's dry humping her bed and then getting into a dance collective with some of the lamest choreography ever. I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch. A golden bird that flies away, a candle's fickle flame. To think I held you yesterday, our love was just a game. No idea why I randomly just started singing Cake, but maybe I was thinking of something cool. And not this. One of the last big musical numbers, if you can call it that, features Zoe Saldana with a spotlight on her, dancing around a bunch of rich people, hopscotching on tables, taking a woman's piece of hair and wiping it down her body into her snatch area, then smelling it. This is the message. This is powerful shit. I hate it. Number 7. I did previously touch upon this in the story department of this video, but we really have to hone in on the messages. It just how awful they are. The fact that there are movie critics, actors, directors, writers, editors that look at this film and say, yes, so brave, so powerful, a douchey, trash, garbage guy becomes a woman, and then suddenly everything's amazing. So brave, so bullshit. That's not how life works. No, you need to face some consequences. I mean, maybe it is how real life works. You should pay consequences in the movie, especially when you are the lowest of the low-life scum. I think my favorite takeaway from this movie is not only did Emilia Pérez and the previous now dead named ruin their children's lives one time, but then came back into their lives only to die again as the aunt, also taking the mother with her. So now the children are orphaned, having to be raised by the friend Rita. What is that message? What am I supposed to take from that? These poor kids are victims in this movie with no one good around them. Oh, they're raised by Rita, the opportunist, who didn't hesitate to seize her own power through wealth. Oh, because she's doing good through the foundation, that means the means she used to get there are just? These are not good messages. And frankly, if I could clutch my fictitious pearls for a second, I'm a little bit insulted. Let's spend a second talking about the editing in the room. Number 6. Oftentimes when I see musicals, there is kind of these bigger, lavish sequences, these dance numbers, where a whole group of people are together doing their thing, the camera's maybe weaving in and out, or we have this beautiful wide-framed shot. We don't have any of that in this. In Pérez, we're gonna be taking things to a raw, gritty level. So during a lot of these numbers, usually it's no more than a couple people in a room, sitting in chairs. And the music will kick in without warning or build-up. Hey, so I was thinking, I've never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. This is how you remind me of what I really am. You know what? That was a terrible example because Nickelback is fucking awesome. And there's no music that even holds a candle to the greatness of Chad Kroeger. And they say that a hero can save us. Look at these photographs. I never took a ta-ta-ta. Remember what I said earlier about the not knowing the lyrics? You just roll with the beat. No, but the editing is actually jarring at a lot of different points. Again, I mentioned this previously, but the ending of the film, the final crescendo, where Emilia Pérez is kidnapped, we don't see it. She was having a conversation with Rita and her ex-wife, her husband's ex-wife. This is complicated. And then 5 minutes later, we have a scene with Rita in her office at night, and she gets a phone call that Emilia Pérez has been kidnapped. What? That doesn't make any sense. What happened? We're missing a huge chunk of information that was left on the cutting room floor. There are also so many unintentionally hilarious scenes where actors will be talking. There will be such long, drawn-out pauses, you almost feel like they forgot what they were supposed to say. Or if they maybe thought the other person was supposed to talk. Or maybe in their heads they was thinking, fuck, how do you say this in Spanish? Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Why did I do this movie? Who is this crazy Frenchman? Number 5, no redeemable characters. 1,000 apologies for the redundancies in this top 10 video. It's, I'm rolling off the cuff, okay? What can I say? I didn't realize I was gonna ramble so much on some of these topics that I was actually gonna stumble into other points and other numbers. So here we are again. I mentioned how terrible both Rita and Emilia Pérez are. There's truly nobody, though, that's likable in this film, that's a good person, I guess, outside of the victims. The victims that are not main characters that we're focusing on. The two children, innocent, they're just trying to have happy lives, and it's constantly being ruined by their garbage parents, mainly Perez. And now that I think about it, there's hardly anyone in this movie. Selena Gomez's character, Jessie, who just seems fed up with all the bullshit. She's selfish. She wants to go out clubbing and leaving her kids at home with Auntie Perez. She finds love with, I guess, a pimp? Emilia calls him a pimp. I don't know if he actually is. I thought he was a mechanic or something, but I was blacking out during several portions of this movie just trying to finish it. You have some of Emilia's henchmen that knew about the surgery and they're still all on Team Perez now. Outside of these miserable, awful people, there's really no one to root for in this thing, except for, I guess, maybe the Mexican community, hoping that they'll clean up their act. But oh no! This movie treats them as fucking idiots too. Emilia Pérez becomes a martyr at the end of the movie. When she dies, she ascends like an angel above, and these people worship her and go out on the streets marching in a parade in her honor. Speaking of insulting, let's talk about the next spot. Number 4. Not only is Emilia Pérez insulting to the Spanish language, it's insulting to Mexico in general. This film is a caricature, an insulting parody of a country and its people. Mexico's dirty. They don't have any form of technology there. There's still just a bunch of maids cleaning up rooms in little office buildings, and that's really all these people are. And they're poor. And they're uneducated. Oh, and the trans community really loving this film too, because we've treated our hero of the film as a self-entitled prick. A person that dismantles their family dynamic, changes identity, decides, oh, I actually kind of like these people still. Give me them back. I want. Emilia Pérez, like a lot of modern stupid Hollywood movies, tackles the trans topic like they've tackled the gay topic or anything other than your traditional straight folks with a gigantic sledgehammer of stupidity. They always overcompensate by making these different factions of folks out to be the heroes every time, or these poor, oppressed individuals that are just trying to live their lives and can do no wrong. Because they're trans or gay, they're already better than everyone else, and it shows through in the pandering writing. The truth is, they're just people, believe it or not. It's wild. It's crazy to think that maybe we should write stories about all different walks of life as just people with flaws. How is it that fucking Modern Family figured this out like 15 or so years ago? That couple had nuance. I know it's a comedy, so everything is very much over the top, but they still had many flaws. They were not perfect people, and they were never held above anyone else in the family. This is the mistake Hollywood has made over and over, and it actually does more to harm the cause than help it. Rant over. Number 3. I don't understand how people, well, first off, I don't understand how people made it to the end of this movie. It took me several days to finish. But when I got there, I thought there's no way this 2024 version of Cats is getting critical acclaim. And then I was sad all over again. Sad pretty much every day at this point, subscribe. Because I saw it was pushing high 70s on Rotten Tomatoes by, actual critics. And then of course the award nominations started to come in, but we'll get there. Watching Emilia's ex-wife and lover shove her into a trunk and then have that car fly off a cliff, blow the fuck up like some early 90s Jean-Claude Van Damme action movie without the cool factor, of course. I am not discrediting Hard Target or Time Cop or Sudden Death or Bloodsport or, I could go on. But no, this is again, unironically dumb. We get no closure or payoff to these characters. This is the Dexter original finale. We never get to see people's reactions as they discover the truth. There is no accountability for this person. And yeah, some will argue, what do you mean? She died in a car accident. That's justice. That's bullshit. She was selfish and got herself into that situation. Had she turned over the money to her wife, blood money, mind you, blood money that she should not have wanted anymore because she didn't earn it. The evil man did. The evil gross guy. Not Perez. Perez is perfect. She shouldn't have had that fucking money. So no, there is no justice for this character. And we get no satisfying reveals of the kids learning the true identity. The only person that finds out is the wife who dies. Isn't that convenient? And Rita, of course, but Rita's garbage, so it doesn't matter. She'll keep the secret safe. A miserably rushed ending that, again, ends with this parade, this march of hearts down the streets of Mexico with all these poor, impoverished people who just have enough money in their pockets to erect a statue in her honor. This is so insulting. It's perfect. Number 2, this is going to be my wild card pick. I don't expect everyone to agree, but I don't like ASMR, the little tapping. The audio in this movie runs wild at times. Every time Emilia is on, her mic is extra crispy. You pick up every little sniff of the nose, every chatter of the teeth. Whenever she's about to speak, you get that disgusting lip pursing bingo. Hello, Rita. Early on, Manitas does this whisper singing, and it pisses me off to no end. It drives me up a wall. I want to get the drugs around me. Feel good. Feel good. Okay, now I just want to listen to Gorillaz. This is a fun musical episode we're having here. Maybe people like that. It's just not for me. And in the number 1 spot, this isn't so much an attack on the movie itself, but an attack on what the movie has done to the Academy Awards. It has melted what was left of the brains of the folks voting on the movies up for Oscars. They're sitting there in their $20 million mansions, kicked up feet on the couch, looking at their little tally board going, oh my God, this fucking movie is pro-Mexican, pro-trans, has a bunch of crap men in the film, strong female leads up the yin-yang. I don't even know what this movie is, but I am voting for it. It's perfect already. I don't even know what to say other than give it every single award known to man. Nay, to woman. Woman to man. Man to woman. Penis to vagina. Emilia Pérez is up for 13 nominations. That's more than The Lord of the Rings had, kill me. And it was also up for a bunch of awards at the Golden Globes. And it's won awards at different ceremonies all across California, wherever the hell they host these things. It's sad. It's truly sad because I don't think its merits are what's getting it across the finish line. It's the messaging. I brought this up in my last video, a rant on how the award shows have become so completely inept and so stupidly about messaging and no longer about the film. There was a point where the two could go hand in hand and it would kind of make sense because a lot of great art has solid messaging that people can relate to from all walks of life. But then you get a movie like this, and it really showcases just how completely out of touch some of these people are. It's a massive spit in the face to all the amazing movies still being made every single year, and the people that work on those films, because it tells them, hey, you did fine. You did fine, Dune 2, but you're also no Emilia Pérez, okay? This is really what we're looking for at the end of the day. An incompetent, insulting waste of time and talent, and it's up for 13 nominations. This is what we're looking for. And yes, we had our crashes back in the day. It's not a perfect system. There's always going to be those outliers. Some people believe that it's always been bullshit, it's rigged, it's paid by the studios to prop up their films. I'm not necessarily disagreeing, I just truly don't know and have not had enough interest to really dig into the underbelly, the seedy underside of what these Hollywood awards are. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. Younger me, sure. It was my Super Bowl. I really loved seeing these stars get out on the red carpet, showcase their amazing movies, celebrate film. That was the young, stupid, naive Adam. Now you have grown-up, jaded, bitter Adam. I still love the hell out of movies, and that's why I have a channel. I just don't need to watch a 3-hour ceremony of people that make way more money than I do, patting themselves on the back, who are also very damaged, outright broken individuals, far more worse than I actually am. So at the end of the day, there's no reason to put these people on a pedestal, and there is zero reason to put Emilia Pérez on one. All right, there you have it, my top 10. It was dicey, but we got their list of why Emilia Pérez sucks ass and should not be up for any awards. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments below. Again, I would encourage you to subscribe. I would appreciate it. That way more of me shows up in your feed, especially if you hit that notification bell. I'm told that's paramount by people that are definitely off camera right now, and I don't do this show alone. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully I catch you next time. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly, and these fine people get a shout out because they're at the upper tier level. Look at these gorgeous folks. They have really gone above and beyond to help support me in the channel, and I appreciate them. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge, just to see what's showing up at least and give you a better sense of it all. Appreciate your time. Thanks.